course, down here at the bottom left, our Zerg player, Leenock, on Daybreak. And at the top right, we have our Terran player, Top, on the team OGS. So this is a 2-player map, of course, a newer map to the GSL, but not quite as new as our maps coming out like the ESV map. And look at this. We're going to see something interesting, perhaps. And I think it's absolutely going to be interesting because Top is proxy to Supply Depot. Now, we all know how this is going to go. It's not going to work because we just saw the replay bar. But we're going to see how this works out. And a really interesting idea. A lot of people have been putting that depot with this proxy build to be able to put the Marines behind it, of course, in certain situations. He's not going to use it for that in this one. I don't think there's enough room for a Marine to stand behind the depot. But it's cool to put your depot down there. If your opponent scouts and he sees no depot, it's a little bit weird, and he knows if there's no wall, if he doesn't necessarily know if the depot's been made there or not. You send your SCV out. You don't have to send 2 SCVs. You don't have to have one SCV not mining to make the depot and have the second one being sent to make the barracks. So, pretty cool tactic. We've seen a lot of people do this in TVT, for example. And Leenock does not have vision of this. He cannot see this at all. He's going for a hatch first, and Top knows that he's been doing that the past 2 games, and in fact has been getting even a late pool each time. And again, we'll be going for the gas here. So a late pool. Really cool strategy by Top to go for this, especially considering that he's been scouting what his opponent's been doing. He's just seen this over and over again. Bunker going down next to the barracks as well. He's really going to hide this until the last possible second. Now starting to wall off. And because Leenock, again, has not only been going for a late pool, but has also been scouting late, not usually sending a drone scout very early, he has no idea what's going on. He does not have any reason to suspect that any unusual play is coming on here. Bunker is going to finish for Top, and this may be his moment to start bunkering closer to the natural. He's actually going to make a second bunker here. I do not believe Leenock can even see that with his creep. No, he cannot. And the first 2 Marines running in here, Leenock definitely going to be caught a little bit off guard by this. And the Marines do get back inside of the bunker. He's going to continue to do this back and forth action with his Marines, trying to take out as many drones as possible. 8 Zerglings on the way right now for Leenock. Nice micro on his drones, not even losing any right now. But the bunkers are getting very close to being finished. Top. This is kind of a huge commitment by Top. He's making 3 bunkers here, and he doesn't have 2 barracks. He only has 1, so his Marine count's going to be very low. He has to be very careful with his Marines, and he's going to have to spread them out between the bunkers. He's also going to have to keep his SCV alive. This is going to be very micro-intensive by both players, but especially for Top. If he messes anything up here, he's going to end up losing this game. The low ground hatcher taking a lot of damage, and the Marines from the barracks actually rallied into that first bunker. With this many Zerglings, he will finish up. See, this is the thing. With only 1 barracks out here for Top, he's not going to be able to keep these bunkers alive for very long. Tries to salvage, does not get the salvage off. He's going to have to lift his barracks now. He's going to even lose his depot, which will supply block him. He is going to get that hatchery by the looks of things, but he's not going to be able to keep these bunkers alive, and he's losing a lot. He's invested a lot in this. He's not going to have a lot of production after he has to lift that barracks. And the hatchery will fall here. SCV is going to hide now. And he cannot really continue to push the bunkers forward. The creep is just as far as creep goes for a hatchery. It's going to be too far for him. He's got a second barracks up in his main. He's making command center. He's taking his gases. So I guess from here, of course, Top is ahead. He killed the hatchery. He's going to kill this queen as well, perhaps. That was a close call. Losing that queen may have been game-ending for Leenock. But he's lost a lot of production. He has 1 barracks floating now. He lost his depot. Leenock's a decent Zergling count out now. But since he does not have a Baneling Nest, and he's just now going to get speed, having that Zergling count up is not going to be really useful for him. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot with that. I mean, what's he going to do? He cannot break through the wall in Top space. So it's an interesting game, especially considering that Top also still has those 2 bunkers up. It's going to take a lot of Zerglings to break these. It's not going to be very cost efficient for Leenock. And in fact, he decides to stop attacking the low ground bunker, losing a ton of Zerglings in the process. SCVs are going to come over here and repair this bunker. He may not even be able to kill this. It's going to be pretty close. I think he's not actually going to quite kill us. Now he targets on the SCV. And it looks like just barely will kill the bunker, but the hatchery has to be canceled. He loses the drone. Really sloppy play by Leenock there, losing a lot more than he needed to with those Zerglings, and then not even killing the bunker. Barely gets the salvage off. That was a close call there too. Nice timing on that by Top. And the Zerglings have been reduced and their number down to nothing practically. He's 10 Zerglings on the way. He's making a macro hatch now. Doesn't even feel comfortable taking the base down there on the low ground. He doesn't have enough larvae to really make enough Zerglings to deal with it. He doesn't know if another push is coming. Leenock really far behind at this point, and he does finally send the drone down now to make the hatchery. But look at this positioning by Top. He's got his Marines in a perfect position so that, again, Leenock is not going to be able to engage this cost efficiently without good micro. Does micro his Zerglings around this time, but still not the most cost efficient trade there. As far as supply goes, Top actually fairly even in supply with his opponent, but he's got an army he's working on. He's got reactor Hellions coming out. He's got tech, all things that Leenock does not really have. Leenock has a good worker count, but that's all he really has, and he cannot really deny the space for Top. It's been up for a long time, and Top even actually has the same worker count as Leenock. He's been not missing any SCVs. It's something he's really well known for. Every time I look at Top's worker count, I'm like, oh, he really does have that many. Didn't miss anything, even though he's producing off that barracks constantly and adding a command center, teching up, getting more barracks out, getting those gases. He's not missed a beat with his SCV production. Gonna even make a bunker now, since he knows he's ahead in economy, or at least better saturation. As far as worker count goes, his opponent is fairly similar to him, but he knows for certain, I've got a command center up. He doesn't have his natural hatchery yet. I'm just gonna play it a little bit safe here. I'm gonna slowly get ahead of my opponent over time. I've got Stim on the way, I've got Tech. That's something that Leenock also does not have. He is getting +1 Carapace right now, but it's gonna be a while before he feels comfortable getting a lair. Definitely play on the back foot here. I like this pressure that's coming out by Top. He's going to try to sneak around the back, perhaps kill some drones, see if there's a third base going up. There's only one spine right now, a second one on the way. Will he commit to this? Well, now he doesn't have much of a choice. He has to turn around. He took too much damage with the Hellions. Factory now being switched here. After those Hellions, he's going to go ahead and switch into siege tank production and add his starport. His tech is way ahead of Leenock's, like light years ahead. As you can see, the worker count a little bit better for Top. Never misses a beat with his SCV count. The Overlord knows that there's a command center. Does not, however, see the third command center of Top, which is actually a genius idea. It's perhaps going to be the last thing Leenock expects. Leenock just cannot scout very well right now. There are Hellions around the map. He doesn't have a Spire to clean up those Hellions. Around this time, in a normal game, he would have the Spire finishing up. He'd be able to clean up the Hellions from the Watchtowers using those mutas, but in this case, no, he can't even really scout. He doesn't have the Watchtowers because the Hellions are out. Double reactors going down for Top now. On those barracks, he's going to have a huge amount of production with his 3-base economy, and with triple mules being dropped. Leenock does have a macro hatchery, so he's got a decent amount of production, but not quite enough economy to really support any sort of tech. He's getting the lair now, but he needs a third base before he can really support making Mutalisks, for example, or Infestors, because he's got a lot of gas, but he's going to need more Banelings to deal with the pressure that's going to come out for Top soon, so he's going to have to balance exactly how much gas he wants to spend on Banelings. I like this flank setup by Leenock, though. He's going to catch these Hellions. Nice flank by Leenock. Beautiful move there. It's one thing he can do to try to get himself into this game. A small victory for Leenock, cleaning up those Hellions, and he even had control of that Watchtower over there on the right side. Doing everything he can, just these little things. Does take his third base now. But look at this pressure coming out. He's going to have perfect control with his Banelings. He's going to have to surround these somehow, some way to get Baneling hits off. They don't have Baneling speed yet. The lair isn't even done. Combat shield's not quite done yet for Top, nor is his +1 for his Marines. But his third base is up and running. It's now spotted. It's a huge drop. He's going to have to pick up immediately, though. There's way too many Zerglings there. Does end up losing a Marine. Gets out with all of his Marines, though. No losses for either player. Spire now going down for Leenock immediately as the lair finishes. But his third base isn't quite done yet. Look at his gas right now. You know, it's not quite where it needs to be. He's going to be banking it up to try to get those mutas out, but he's going to need to make more Banelings if a huge attack comes from Top. Remember, Top's got tanks out now. He's got combat shields finishing up. He's got 1-1 on the way. It's going to be finished Pretty soon his +1 weapons definitely going to finish around the same time he gets to this third base. He's going to need to make banelings. He's not going to have the gas he needs to make very many mutas. Look at this. Top has a bunker up as third base. Not going to cover the right side, though, so nice control here by Leenock. Hold position, microing his Zerglings there, but they do get cleaned up. He killed a few SCVs. He's trying to scare his opponent to turn around. This is a tough spot now. He's going to have to defend this really well. Will Top siege up correctly? Will he split his Marines correctly? It's all going to come down to micro. Slow banelings running in here. The spines are unburrowed. He does target down one baneling. The siege tanks are up. Stim goes off on the Marines. A little bit of hesitation from Top. Wants to bait the banelings into his siege tank fire. He knows they don't have speed yet, but they're about to. He's also about to have +1 for melee for those Zerglings. These Marines are going to get trapped. Oops. And look at that. Since the army is split into two groups, Leenock will actually be able to clean this up really well. Does end up lifting those Marines up, and he may have some opportunities to continue the harassment. A huge drop, though, in the main. It's going to be cleaned up. He does a decent amount of damage. He's going to cost efficiently trade here. Look at the Marine positioning. Even picks up after killing a ton of Zerglings. And now coming in using really good multitasking. Top is just unstoppable with his multitasking. Not missing a beat with his SCVs this entire time. Now killing a ton of workers of his opponent. Positioning his Marines behind the minerals and will pick up as things get rough. Really nice trading by Top. Right now, the worker count much better for Top. 9 drones on the way for Leenock, though. Trying to get what he can. Look at that. 84 SCVs to 54 drones. Top way in the lead. He's got +2 armor on the way, or about that +2 armor on the way. +2 weapons on the way for his infantry. His opponent getting +2 melee. We'll clean up these drops. Hitting +1 carapace for his mutas again. A 4th command center going down for Top. His Marine count pretty high right now, 44. He's got 4 siege tanks out as well now. It's going to be pretty tough for Leenock to win this fight. This next fight is going to decide the game, perhaps. If Leenock can somehow push this back and win this battle, he may be able to take the game, but it's just looking really good. He's trying to do everything he can. He's really trying to find those siege tanks, but Top being so meticulous with his push, he's not being risky. Watchtower now being held by Leenock. You can see what's coming, but can he stop it? That is the question. Leenock sending his mutas around on a drop, finding path. Top maxed out, now going to move out. He's almost at 2-1 upgrades. His +2 armor on the way. +1 carapace for the mutas, getting closer to being finished for Leenock, as well as his +2 melee, but Top has just got this massive, scary army. This bunker alone is going to chase these mutas off. The turret's finishing up as well. Nice scanning by Top to try to find baneling landmines, but he didn't even walk past them anyways. Now this is going to be a really good position for Top to siege up. He's going to be able to micro his Marines back. But he's going to have to be very careful. He doesn't want them to be clumped up. There we go. Nice control here by Top. Hitting a lot of those banelings with siege tank fire. Using the drops for vision, he's going to move in the second wave of Marines. As he moves around to the right side, he's going to drop there. And another push heading in that direction. I think Leenock may just fall apart here. Takes out an Overlord. Just continue to pressure forward with those units. His opponent cannot chase down those Marines because there's so many siege tanks to back them up. The banelings can't come in. How is he going to deal with this? It's just almost impossible for him to. Burrows there, he scans, takes out all of those banelings, and things looking grim or near impossible for Leenock here. Top microing back his Marines now. And it's just too much. 200 supply to 140 for Leenock. But he's losing all of his Overlords. He's completely under siege. He's got no answer for these Marines. The Marines are also split so well. The mutas can't really target on siege tanks very well. He's going to try to do it. He has +1 carapace. Does get a few siege tanks. He does not have the crucial number. Actually going to target down even more. Nice micro by Leenock. Doing what he can, even baiting the Marines into banelings almost. But it's not quite enough. Remember, Top's got a 4th base up during all of this. Leenock losing more and more Mutilis. 2-2 finishing up right now for Top for his Marines. And he's just engaging really well, targeting down the banelings, also using his siege tanks for cover. 3 weapons on the way now for Top as well. He's maxed out against 120 supply. Leenock trying to do everything he can here, targeting down medevacs, targeting down siege tanks where he can. The drone's now transferring. GG. Leenock has left the game. Top takes the first series. He is our first winner of the group.